Hey there! Welcome to a presentation on the C programming language. I thought that for today we could see what other cool things we could do with the problem that we went over in the past video. So let's dig right in. I just need to set up here for a bit. I'm gonna copy. Oh, actually, I need to copy this recursively. You'll see that we'll use a bunch of stuff from the previous video, and this could be like part 2 for it. And this time we will render a volcano, and you will see in a moment why. So we have the new folder. I'm gonna go in there. I'm first gonna remove the executable. Then I'm gonna copy the file to volcano.c. I'll remove staircase. Oh, okay, so I think we're good to go. I'm gonna fire up my code editor here. Okie doke. So what we did in the previous video was to render a staircase in the console made out of pound signs, and now we're gonna render a volcano. Okay, so what I mean by that, so let's have a visual representation. So if h is 3, for example, we're gonna render. So what we did the last time was to render a staircase going up towards the right, which, for example, if h is 3, would be space pound space pound space no, actually next row and no blanks, and then 3 pounds. Okay, so this was the more complicated one, I guess. The initial one was the one you see here. So here we needn't bother about blanks, but now rendering a volcano would basically mean adding a couple of blank spaces for each row, which would be like the volcano opening, if you can imagine that. And then it would be something like this. So basically we'd have both of the staircases, first the one going up towards the right, then the blanks, and then the one going up towards the left. Okay, so this would basically be it. And for example, if h is 5, have another visual representation of this. I'm just gonna copy this down here. Let's see how can I do that? I think Alt Shift. Yep, if you hold down Alt Shift, and you can click on multiple rows. Okay, so this, one more blank. And this would be our volcano for an h of 5, okay? Basically, the h of 5 dictates the last row or the base, but here, being having a volcano, we'd have 5 and 5. Okie doke. So the height of the staircase should be of the volcano now should be provided via user input. The value of the height should be 1 and 8, between 1 and 8, so we keep prompting the user until we have the right input. This was what we previously had, won't apply. So another requirement would be to, if we basically break it down, what would rendering a volcano mean? That would mean to render a staircase going up towards the right, 2 blank spaces, and render and a staircase going up towards the left. Okay, like we have here. Okay, so what we did first to do is to get the user input for the height, and then we loop for the rows. So basically we'd need 2 loops, an outer loop and an inner loop, to have like a 2D rendering. So the outer loop would be for the rows, and then the inner loop would be for the inner code, actually would be for the row contents. Okay, looking at the code. So here, this is where we use a do while to get the input from the user. It should be between 1 and 8, and then we have the outer loop for the rows. So After it's done, it just goes to the new row here, and inside the content of the outer loop, this is where we generate the row contents. So having done the one going up towards the right last, basically we render the blanks first and then the pounds. Okay, so again, this was in the previous video. So we're basically going to reuse most of this stuff here. We're just going to tweak it and have a volcano. So what we did here, so this is a simple for loop for the height. Here we do it for the blanks. We start from 1 and we make it less than h minus I. So because we need the blanks number to decrease, what we do here is we use a fixed value, a set value, which is h, and we deduct an incrementing value, which is I. Okay, so if we do that, we're just going to have fewer blanks on each row. Okay, we start from 1 because we want on the first go to have h is, for example, 3. If we deduct 0, which is the first I, we have 3. So starting from 1, we would have 1 and 2, so 2 blanks. Okay, just like you would see here. Okay, okie doke. And for the pounds, we basically have another simple for loop, start from 0. Here we actually need something that increments, because for each row we need more pounds. Okay, so we use I plus 1. So the first time is 1 pound and 2 pounds. I would be 0 the first time, so plus 1 it's 1, and so on. Okay, hope that makes sense. Actually, a small refactoring that we could do here would be, if this looks weird to you, instead of using plus 1, we could use j being less than or equal to I. Okay, so let's just make sure that this still works. I'll fire up a terminal. So I use the GCC compiler. I'm going to compile our code. I'm going to name the output volcano. I'm going to execute. Oh, so I think we're good. Okie doke. So if we go back to our notes, so yeah, this is where we loop for the content. So the first would be loop for blanks, then the next one would be loop for hash signs, or actually I'm gonna keep using pounds. That's what I went with so far. Pound signs. Oh, sorry, pound signs. Okay. So if we make 2 more separate to-dos, they would be for to add 2 blank spaces per row. That should be pretty easy. Basically, we would just print them out. So print a couple of blanks. That's 1, and then the next and final one would be to loop for pound signs again. Oh, sorry. This would be the second staircase, the second half of the volcano. Okay, so this would be like the original staircase from the previous video, going up towards the left. Here so we don't need to bother about blanks anymore. This should be pretty easy. I think you can already figure out what we'll use. So we have the blanks, we have the pounds. This would be the first half of the volcano. We have the volcano opening, and then we would have the second half of the volcano, so the other staircase. Basically, if this was already done, we could just reuse the same loop for the pound signs. Okay, I'm actually gonna need another letter here. I'm gonna use L. The sequence is a bit off here alphabet wise because we did this first and then this came second, but it actually needed to be first. So yeah, just gonna use L here, L again, and this should pretty much be it for the volcano. This would be like the second half of the volcano, the second staircase. Let's make sure this still works. 3. So that would basically be the volcano that we need. Okay, do one more just to be sure. 7. Oh, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, yeah, looks good. Okie doke. So one last thing that you might notice is that this is a bit redundant because we use the exact same loop twice. So another small refactoring we could do is actually abstract it out to its own separate method that we could call here instead of actually having the loops, and pretty much decreasing the overall code. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to do another method here. Or should we call this one render row bounds? So for example, have one argument which should be, and we could basically just copy what we have here, put it here. Oh, this went too far. So I'm just gonna go with the generic I here. Okay, generic I be less than or equal to the input argument n, increment it, and we print the pounds. Okay, so if we want to use this, we also have to set it up here, and then we could just replace our two loops with the method that we created. Here's one, here's 2, and we'll pass it the I that both of them used, and that should pretty much be it. So let's see, still works. Okay, seems like it's still working. Yep, that's all good. So this would basically be it. Okay, so I hope this was as fun for you as it was for me. If you found this interesting in any way, please give the video a like and subscribe, and I'll see you around.